good could still come from National's implosion. New Zealand politics is a target-rich environment right now for any opposition. We have a government which is decidedly slow and reactive on things that people care about, while marching towards ideological politics that people don't care about. This article, written by Steven Joyce, was published in the New Zealand Herald on the 27th of November 2021. This week's announcement on the border was a half-assed, bob-each-way non-announcement that drowns immediately in its own illogic. How come it's okay for Kiwis to come back from Australia on the 15th of January, but not for Christmas? How is it okay for double-vaxxed Kiwis to come over, but not double-vaxxed Australians, who present identical risks? Why are public-vaxxed Kiwis able to come from Australia, but not from Singapore and London? What happens at the end of April, and why is that date so special? None of this makes any sense. And as for the traffic light system we're all about to be subject to, who really knows what's allowed and what's not allowed? In my observation, Auckland has largely binned it before it starts, consistent with most Australian states which are rapidly dropping their restrictions at similar levels of vaccination. Ministers have taken to responding to questions about their cause with a passionate, arrogant reasoning. That's the decision we've made, as if that justifies the content of the decision. They're skating perilously close to, "We are in charge, so lump it." Looking around Auckland, many people have told them to lump it. Beyond COVID, the inexplicable policy adventures are piling up. There's three waters, the health reforms, ballooning debt, rising inflation, and the light rail fantasy. In case you missed it, this week the government proposed a government-run employment insurance scheme which will increase taxes on the workers and the employers. Meanwhile, the wheels are coming off the government's rail company. Everywhere there's evidence of Wellington running things poorly, just as this government seeks to have Wellington run more of these things. All this makes the National Party's implosion all the more frustrating for centre-right supporters and anyone else questioning the incompetence of the government. For them, Thursday was a very gloomy day. But it might not be that bad after all. The simple fact is, Judith was not firing. She hadn't captured the public's imagination, and they were getting impatient for another option. There needed to be a change. The manner of her leaving will remain interesting to the political pundits, but the voters have already moved on to an important part, which is what comes next. That's what National Caucus will be grappling with this. The rest of us can comment on it, but they are the ones who have to live with their decisions. This weekend will be spent grappling with the strengths and weaknesses of each possible aspirant, the deputy and the makeup of the front bench. I'm not going to offer my view about who should end up the leader, but I do have some thoughts about what is required for the role. First, the leader needs to be relatable. New Zealanders need to feel the leader is a good person who they enjoy the company of, and who will have their back. Leaders need to be genuinely interested in the aspirations of ordinary Kiwis. Good leaders who last are always interested in what the people think. Leaders need a real desire to serve the public. Seeking to become a leader is not the end in itself. It's not something to stick on your CV. It's a serious business. People often highlight the importance of leaders being decisive, and that's true. No one should step up to the leadership role without knowing where they want to steer the ship. But leaders also need to be good listeners. They need to gather around them advice from all walks of life and understand how they should weigh in on each piece of advice. They need to be consistently testing their views with their team and be prepared to change their views if they are wrong. As the contestants line up for caucus each week, they'd be wise to remember that not everybody can make it to the top of the greasy pole. The leader spends most of their time being chief sales rep for the team. That means a lot of talking and even more listening. It means doing media calls every hour of the day and night and having cameras on you almost every waking moment. It means opposition hit squads, going over every element of your past, seeking to find a flaw that they can blow up and discredit you with. It is often more satisfying to be a senior member of the team. You work hard, but the diary is not so relentless. You get to do more things yourself, and you get to contribute to each decision. Whatever else happens over the next few days, National must emerge with a united team, where all the key players accept the result and are visibly committed to performing their roles. The front bench must be a genuine blend of perspectives from within the party and society. National began as a merger of urban liberals and provincial conservatives, and it has always been at its best when those broad coalitions and variations of them were successfully accommodated. The new team needs to bounce out re-energised and to take the fight to the government on behalf of the people increasingly concerned about the country's direction. The rest is irrelevant, and irrelevance beckons if National doesn't bring it together. On the other hand, like I say, it's a target-rich environment.